All right, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We may have Jacob pop in here in a minute. We'll see how everything shakes out. But Tim, how was your day, man? Everything going good up there in the Bay? Hope you're muted, brother.
It's our new intro, man. I'm still muted.
I'm telling you, bro. It throws me off every time.
My bad. No, it's beautiful up here, man. Finally cooled off a little bit. You know, we had a hot one today, but it's nice, man. We got out, went to the movies today. You know, we didn't do date night. We did date afternoon. We caught the cheap matinee because, you know, I'm like Jacob. I like a good deal, too, every once in a while, you know. So, no, it was good, man. It was good.
Heck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I don't know. I kind of enjoy that because if you go to the late show at the theater, especially when you get to be my age, it's like 11:30, 12 when you come out of there. I'm like, I'm barely – we might have to call a cab. I'm poor. So
spend $100 to go to the movies nowadays and fall asleep in the movie theater. Yeah, no, that was me. I said, let's just get up. As soon as we get up today, we'll go catch the early show.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, you ain't got to worry about falling asleep going to a Packers game, though. That's for sure. And if you're going to go to a Packers game this year, make sure you check with Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau Field and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description here, and that'll send you over to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and begin shopping for your Packers tickets. I know that inventory is going to continue to fill up, and I'm really excited about some of these matchups we got coming up this year, man. Again, it's already, June 29th. So tickets are going to start flying off of that website quick. Make sure you get in there and get the best seats, the best deals possible. So, again, that is Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. Check them out at theticketking.com. We always appreciate them sponsoring the show. And I'll tell you what else we appreciate, this crazy Wildcat down here, Mr.
The
Jacob.
beard is here.
What's up, Jacob? How you doing this evening, bub?
Doing good, fellas. I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Just here to talk a little Packers. This is going to be a tight end heavy show tonight, man. I'll tell you, for as much buzz as the receiver room's been getting, like Tim was saying to me offline, it's like a lot of positive around the receiver room, but also some negative. Now you're getting the tight end room start to spark a little conversation, and people are really starting to catch on there. But before we dive into it, I just want to say I apologize for yesterday evening. We had a show planned. Actually was going to try to do it this morning as well, but had some stuff come up. Unfortunately, had a death in the family, lost my brother. So we're kind of thrown into a little bit of a tailspin here, trying to just organize everything. And I'm sure everyone hearing my voice, you've had to deal with it at some point in your life. You know, we don't have to go through all the details, but it's just a short amount of time to get a lot of stuff organized. So, well, luckily I found myself today getting settled back in here at the house and was like, you know what, let's get a show in. So it's just nice therapy to get in here and talk ball with a couple good buddies and obviously a whole bunch of fellow Packer fans in the chat. So if you do hear a dog bark, I've got my brother's dog here with me now. And like I was telling Tim offline, him and my boy Lincoln, they've been establishing dominance here in the house. So I've been refereeing all day. So I've got him up here with me. If he barks, I apologize. And he's got a sharp bark. He's about 80 pounds. So I just apologize in advance. Please offer a little bit of grace in that regard. So I know Jacob knows about it too, man. He's got his dog that I think you send it to the dog sitter when we go live, don't you, Jacob?
Yeah, something like that. It's tough, man.
What does that mean? Something like that, yeah.
Hey, all kidding aside, man. I know that the whole PTA posse is with you, and my heart's breaking for you, man. And it just sucks. So
yeah, addiction is a horrible thing, man. And when it grabs a hold of you, it doesn't let go. So the number one thing to do is, while we're all young, keep that in check. There's nothing wrong with having a drink every now and again. You hear us joke about daddy sodas all the time, but don't ever just don't let it get a hold of you, man. And find people close to you that care about you and lean on them. And also, whether you're a believer or not, I've always heard idle hands are the devil's playground or idle mind is the devil's playground. It's so true, and just experienced that firsthand. So that's life, though, man. That's life. And yeah, enough on that. But I appreciate that, Jake. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate you too, Tim. But let's get into it. Let's talk some Packers, man. Let's do this. Let's do it now. So this came across the wire from Bill Huber. I thought this was really cool. And man, one hell of an article. If you guys get a chance to check this out, again, if you go to his Twitter page at Bill Huber NFL, tweeted out a couple of days ago, June 27th. So it says Packers tight end Tucker Kraft on the small school transition, Yak, and his goal for the upcoming season. All right. And within the article, we're not going to read the entire article. Please, please, please. I put this on my Twitter account. I quote tweeted it. Go give it a share, not mine. Go directly to Bill Huber's tweet and give it a like, a retweet, all that good stuff. Let's spread this around because it's a really cool article. I put a couple of comments out of this article. It's really good. All right. So in the article, it says a third-round pick last year, Kraft led the entire rookie tight end class with 7.5 yards after the catch per catch. I think it's saying after the catch. Yeah, after the catch per catch. There you go. 7.5 yards after the catch per catch, according to Pro Football Focus. No other rookie who was targeted at least 12 times in the passing game averaged more than 6.0 in yak. All right. It says even among the established veterans, Kraft excelled. According to PFF, 45 tight ends were targeted at least 30 times. Kraft was number one in yak per catch. Tim, this blew me away, man. And again, I know we've talked about this. The main statistic that I keyed in on when it came to Tucker Kraft this year, I kept showing you guys, I mean, look at the passer rating when targeted, right? The receiver rating, which is the passer rating when targeting that specific receiver or tight end or running back. His was through the roof. I think he was top 3 in the league. Now you take that and some people go, okay, well, receiver rating, I got you. What else you got? How about yak? 7.5 yards after the catch on a per catch basis, according to Pro Football Focus. No other rookie who was targeted at least 12 times in the passing game averaged more than 6 yards of yak. Tim, this dude, he's got sure hands. As Emilio would say, he can block, right? And he's also just running over people with yak yardage, right? What do you think? And I would love an advanced metric statistic to tell us how much of those yak yards were air yards, where he was hurtling over people. Now, again, watch the dangle, all right? Protect the dangle, but still, Tucker Kraft's a fun player to watch, man.
Tuck freaking Norris, okay? Let's just make that stick. He is the Tuck Norris of our squad. No, he's fun to watch. And, you know, if he's hurdling guys, that's great. But you're right. You got to protect the junk for sure at all times. I prefer the old lower the shoulder and just barrel into that defender and pick up that extra 3.5, 4 yards as you take them with you. But no, you hit it on the head, man. Sure-handed. I think what might be underrated with him too, as far as attributes, is his football IQ. He doesn't come off as a football guru, right? But right. He certainly is. I haven't seen too many busted plays with him running the wrong route or missing an assignment, things like that. So I think he's got pretty good FBI or high football IQ. So, you know, that's a big attribute of the game. And when you're in a Matt LaFleur offense, that's incredibly invaluable because it can be complex at times with a lot of the things that we're doing. But, you know, versatility is key. And I think, you know, Tucker Kraft's got that in his game. We'll talk a little bit about Luke Musgrave, too, a little later. But I think this tight end room is shaping up to be another strong attribute. You know, like we said at the top of the show, you know, for all the talent we have on this offense with QB1 to our running backs to our wide receiver room, offensive line is going to take a step forward this year. I truly believe that. Look at these tight ends. You know, if we, you know, mess around and get us you know, a third monster tight end on this team, I mean, we're an absolute force to be reckoned with on the offensive side of the ball. And I think we're going to see good things going forward.
Absolutely. Ron Samuel in the chat said, Unreal Kraft is such a Packer. It's so true. And that's not even to mention the lung dart and the bush latte, right? I mean, that dude is just wild. Another one here, Jacob. Even among the established veterans, Kraft excelled. According to PFF, 45 tight ends were targeted at least 30 times. 45 tight ends with 30 targets. And Kraft was number one in yak yardage, man. It's just if we're going to talk Musgrave in a minute, man, but dude, Tucker Kraft, the real deal, I believe. I really believe that. What do you think, Jake?
So that metric has to include Sam Laporta, correct? It has to.
Yes, and I think Sam Laporta is mentioned a little later in the article here in a minute, so we'll mention him because I think
Because honestly, when you talk about up and coming tight ends, I mean, when you look at, for instance, in a fantasy draft, Sam Laporta is going about 10 picks before Travis Kelce, which should tell you something. Also, in that same aspect, people that are sleeping on certain Packer tight ends, Luke Musgrave is an absolute steal right now. Like in the 11th round, you can get him. And what's even worse than that is Tucker Kraft is going undrafted. And obviously, we know what Tucker Kraft has with his pec injury right now. I would hope and I would hope and pray that is not going to hindrance him from really actually getting into this, preseason. What is it? It sounds like he'll be good to go right around the actual start of the real preseason kind of thing. I hope that's the case because, I'll be honest, man, Tucker Kraft looked like an actual full-fledged tight end. We talked about how like certain tight ends are maybe more blocking, more sift blockers, Tyler, Davis or whatever, or more, maybe they're like a hybrid tight end, or maybe they're more of like a slot tight end or receiving tight end. I really do believe that Tucker Kraft is the Army tool, the Swiss Army knife, that he can be whatever you want him to be. And we, if you look at his RAS, forgive me if I'm wrong, he was another high 9.5, 9.7 guy or something like that. Like The dude is an athletic freak. And you watched him when he got the ball in his hands and he felt a little more confident. You can't take down that tank, bro. Like he is ready to bowl you over if you want to try and like Tim said, he's ready to go above you too. He'll let them little the tuckets just hit over the top of your helmet there, and
he said the tuckets too.
I'm just saying he's got to learn how to tuck them boys away, but
just the tip though.
Tuck away the tuck. You don't get that on any other pod. I'm sorry. Eric Sutherland profile pic, bro. Heavy cackling. Listen, I don't care. Listen,
I just saw that. Oh my god.
There's plenty of memes for both participants, okay? And you guys know how I feel about both participants. I look up and I go, how in the hell are these the two best people that we have to choose from as far as being our president? But I'm telling you, that profile pic is pretty solid. He says Kraft, Musgrave, and Sims tight end room is stacked. Coach Lynn said, how much is Tucker's weight? He is 6'5", 258 pounds. And that's with a half a pack of lung darts.
That ain't nothing but lung darts, red meat, and bush latte right there. I'll tell you what.
Exactly. Omer in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says, wait until another good profile pic. Look at this. Wait until he has a healthy Musgrave on the other side all season. Amen. We're going to get into that too. Omer also says Sims okay to DeGuara gone. It's going to look a lot better this season. I'm not trying to bash DeGuara. One of the best human beings you'll ever meet. Tucker Kraft sang his praises last year of the leader he was in the tight end room. Wish him nothing
Jersey signed right here.
There it is. Wish him nothing but luck in Jacksonville unless they play the Packers. I think I agree with you, Omer. I think the room is a lot better this year. He also said Davis making the team our best teams player 2 years ago and a solid number 4. Kind of feels like the special teams are going to be pretty darn solid this year. Fred McFarley also says 9.68 RAS for Tucker Kraft. Absolutely love it, man. Love it. And again, guys, thank you so much. I don't want to put them on the screen or distract from the show here, but I see your comments up, a little earlier in the show. Thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. Again, this is why I wanted to get back online, because we can all kind of lean on each other, man. I really, really appreciate it. So check this out. Later in the article, this is a little bit long-winded, but I'm going to hit on it for you real quick. It says, quote, everyone was wrong. Anyone who tries to shove that small school narrative, they can put it where the sun don't shine, Kraft said. Remember, they were making fun of him, not making fun of him, but saying, oh, he's a small school. They can put it where the sun don't shine. He said that during OTAs. He says, quote, we're football players. We're playing the same game. You rise to the ability of the people around you. Again, taking leaders, take praise and redistribute it, right? They absorb criticism and deflect praise. They redistribute it back to their teammates. We're playing the same game. You rise with the ability of the people around you. I was out there dominating the FCS level, but you turn the film on here. The NFL is not that hard of a game if you're locked into your techniques and you know your offense well enough.
Say that again. That's what I was just talking about.
I love it, dude.
I love it, man. It's not that hard of a game if you pay attention to what the hell you're doing and you know the offense.
And you're willing to smack somebody right in the mouth.
Tuck Norris.
It says, like they did this offseason at safety, the Packers blew up their tight end group last offseason. After choosing to not re-sign Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis, they used a second-round pick on Luke Musgrave and a third-round pick on Kraft. Combined, they caught 65 passes and became the first rookie tight end duo since the Patriots, Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, to each have 30-plus receptions, 350-plus yards, and at least one touchdown. Guys, the first time this has happened, the last time this happened was the Patriots' unbelievable 12 personnel that they ran for them to accomplish this. They caught 65 passes and became the first rookie tight end duo since the Patriots to each have 30-plus receptions, 350-plus yards. That's just wild, man. Kraft's season was remarkable. He barely played the first 4 weeks and barely came off the field the final 7. During the final 6 games, he ranked 8th amongst tight ends with 24 receptions for 297 yards. Only Detroit Lions Pro Bowler Sam Laporta had more catches and yards among rookie tight ends. I think we would all agree, as it sits right now based off of last year, Sam Laporta performed as if he was the best tight end in that rookie class. But this is a new year, and Tucker Kraft was breathing right down his neck, man. What do you think about that right there, man? Again, how everyone was wrong. Anyone who tries to shove that small school narrative can put it where the sun don't shine. Tim, this cat's speaking my language, man.
Dude, I love it. It's even like I've always said too about the draft. Like, I don't care if you're a first round pick or you're dead last in the draft. You know, I mean, say what you want about Brock Purdy, but I mean, it proves my point. It does not matter where you play college ball, where you're drafted. What matters is you're in the National Football League. It's sink or swim. Can you play with the big boys or can you not play with the big boys? I think it's pretty clear that Tuck Norris can play with the big boys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob, you got anything to add to that right there? Man, there was your boy Sam Laporta, what I was talking about. They mentioned him.
Yeah, I mean, just because honestly, people are putting Sam Laporta, like I said, in the fantasy drafts, he's a pick above Travis Kelce. That tells you how high people think of what his potential could be. What I think, though, is that right along that line is Kraft. I mean, honestly, between Musgrave and Kraft, it's weird because when we first would have done the draft and said, like, who do you think is going to be the breakout guy? I would have said, obviously, Musgrave. You know, he's the more physically – and that's even hard to say. He's more physically talented, but I think his RAS was actually a little notch lower than Tucker's, if I'm not mistaken. Smitty, hit me up on the chat. Let me know. I know we saw that Tucker's, where would I see it? 9.68 RAS for Kraft there. Like, that's freaking good, bro.
Freaking insane.
Big man as he is. And then we saw that, dude. Like, I always, for whatever reason, I thought of Tucker as like he's a inside the phone booth tight end. He can't really make a move, dude. He gets the ball in his hands. That's baby Gronk. He's going hard. He's doing some shifty stuff. That's my lung dart, bro. You know what I mean? He don't give no shoots. He's just sitting there looking like, where am I getting my pack of Pall Malls after I jump over you? And I do a little spin move, and then I'll truck stick you as I'm going in. Like I'm telling you, man. Oh shoot, Smitty. Musgrave had a 9.95. All right.
Wow.
That's how we're going. All right.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, we
There's
got
some guys.
Here's a guy. Oh, we got Spider-Man at freaking tight ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's in addition to the 5 or 6 receivers you can't figure out who the F you're going to cover. In addition to the 2 new running backs that are absolute freaks. I'm just saying, man, this is a recipe for
A
wild
Super Bowl.
success. Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Smitty in the chat said Dallas Goedert came from South Dakota State University as well, and would consider him a pretty damn good tight end. Coach Lynn says South Dakota State University is no small school. They could beat a bunch of D1A programs. Talking about Coach Lynn is probably around my age. We still call it Division I and Division II. I was corrected the other day, Coach Lynn. It is now FBS and FCS. Okay, so they can stick it where the sun don't shine too. I'm going to keep saying Division I like you, Coach Lynn. Fred McFarley said Donald Driver, perfect example. Played at HBCU, Alcorn State, and went in the 7th round. Donald Driver, one of my favorite all-time.
I was waiting. I was going to bring it up if the chat didn't, and of course they're on the ball. I love it.
Definitely. And then Coach Lynn says he could have transferred to a bigger school, but chose to stay close to home. There's something to be said about that. And that's another thing that I like about the Patriots' first-round pick this year. Man, his name's already escaping me here. I think I deleted my draft board. Actually, I get it right here. Drake May, right? Yeah. So Drake May, many people don't know this. He comes from a football family. Comes from a family of athletes altogether, but really, really big football family. He could have gone somewhere else and got more money in NIL, and he chose to stay at North Carolina. To me, that says a lot. That says, hey, look, I'm committed to this team. I'm committed to this. There's nothing wrong with going somewhere else and bettering yourself. Please don't misunderstand me. But if I'm a scout or a GM and I've got all of this draft information in front of me and I got two guys that are in the same tier, and one of the notes is this dude chose to stay at the school he was at because he wanted to stay close to home. He wanted to play with the teammates he had. He really loves this organization. He turned down more money to go to stay where he's at. That means a lot to me. That tells me that dude's going to have some heart in that locker room. He's going to be sold out to your program, right? Your franchise. I don't know. I think that stuff gets overlooked sometimes. We go on in this article and it says for as productive as Musgrave and Kraft were when they were on the field, they weren't on the field at the same time very often. Kraft was slow to earn a role, which I think that means even more the fact that he earned that spot, right? Yep. When he did, Musgrave suffered the kidney injury. So as good as they were individually, the hope is they'll be even better together. Quote, I didn't come into this league as a backup, Kraft said. It said, Luke and I, we don't play under or over each other. We play with each other. That's how all of us work when we step out on that field. We're playing with each other, playing for each other. I'd say the next progression in us is mainly just identifying what parts of our game we're really good at. I'm just excited to get rolling. The role will have to wait until training camp. Kraft suffered a torn pectoral while on the bench press. Quote, it popped right off the bone. Ugh. So he was unable to practice during OTAs and minicamp. So it goes on to talk about how he's going to battle that. He said his goal is to be ready for training camp week 1. Now, is that realistic? I don't know if it is or not, guys. But I know if anyone can pull it off, it's going to be Tucker Kraft. But what do you guys think about that, man? We don't play over each other or under each other. We play alongside each other, right? And just talking about how this team is playing for each other. Again, we're building a team. We're not collecting talent. The old Bill Belichick quote, right? These guys are so excited, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I see quotes like that, man, and it affirms my belief. Lombardi's coming home this year. He's coming home.
Tim's going hard.
I don't care, man. I don't care, dude. I'm going with the confidence, man. The way they finished last year after so much speculation and doubt, and the entire team had something to prove. They came together. I mean, we have flipped this defense around. We've got another killer draft. Like, dude, these guys are look how young they are, and they're so locked in, and they're playing for each other. There's no me guys on this team. There's no I guys on this team. This is a unit locked together on a mission, and I'm telling you right now, we're bringing Lombardi home. I believe it with all my heart.
I honestly believe that Tim is not being hyperbolic here. Have you heard the Rashawn Gary interview where he talked to Rich Eisen?
Rich Eisen.
He's like. He literally goes on. He goes, hey man, you guys you've seen what Jordan can do in a certain capacity. He goes, you have no idea what this guy the level he's on right now. They talked about, dude, my own hair standing up. That's so creepy. He literally went on to say, he goes, you have no. He goes, you see what you've seen about Jordan in the postseason and what he did in that season. He goes, you have no idea the steps he's taking right now. Like the guy's putting darts in the bullseye, I'll say, and he is just absolutely threading the needle to the point where people are like, I didn't know dude could do this kind of stuff. It sounds like it's that drastic from you want to call it a step 1 from year to year 2. I mean, to be fair, it's crazy to say about Jordan Love because he's been in the league for 4 years, but he's a rookie. That's basically what he is. He's a rookie. He had a rookie season, and even in that, it's very hard to say that Jordan Love is this type of player because he put up a certain amount of work in an 8-game series, then he put out a completely different amount of work in a 9-game series.
Yep.
And I think specifically that he is going to not only become that second year quarterback, that I think that he is going to become a perfectionist to the point where he is a top 3 quarterback in this league, I will argue that he will be better than Patrick Mahomes eventually.
Oof,
I know
I
that's a
love it.
crazy thing to say.
I love it.
I know that.
And it's one thing when dad gives you the keys to the car, right? And says you can drive. It's another thing if dad's sitting there with you going, put the pedal to the metal.
Right.
And I'll tell you, Jordan Love for all those years playing behind Aaron Rodgers and probably being told on occasion during camp or practices that, hey, Aaron Rodgers can throw that ball there in that situation, but we just want you to go through your progressions and hammer these throws. I think this year is the year that we see full unadulterated Jordan Love on a tear. I don't think there's going to be any restrictions to what he can do with this offense. Not to say that there were last season, but I think all of that, any doubts that may have been left, I think those were squashed as we closed out last season with Jordan Love. If you're not convinced that he's the real deal by now, I implore you to watch football more and
correct.
Pay closer attention because he is him, as the kids say. So
I would argue with Tim too that like you look at like Clayton always talks about, trust the guys that know what they're talking about. You watch guys like Craig Cosell, you watch guys like Lombardi, all these. They who's the other guy from we played a clip from him from ESPN where he's like, if you had to basically start a dynasty league from here on out, he'd pick Jordan Love over Josh Allen. He picked him over Lamar. He picked him over CJ Stroud.
He doubled down on it too.
And and to be honest, his logic was sound. I mean,
right.
You look at what Jordan Love did in the first half of the season, and you're like, that's a serviceable quarterback, I would argue. What he did in the last half of the season was, and we can't over exaggerate this. I'm talking, this is the best quarterback we've seen production wise in the last 10 years, maybe and it sounds crazy, but he's up there with all time. And I know that sounds hyperbolic. The dude threw, wasn't it like 17 touchdowns with 1 interception? I mean,
something crazy like that.
It was on par with things that you see with only the top of the top. And from what we've heard again from offseason is that Jordan Love is dialed in, that they can't touch him on the defense and OTAs. They can't figure out where he's going with the ball. Rashawn Gary said it on Rich Eisen's. It's like, you can't understand how pinpoint this guy is. He's taken such a leap. And if that's the case, I'm here for it. I'm here for offseason talk. I want that too. Feed me all the BS, all you want to do. But to me, if you're a BS reader, I think that you look at that, what Rashawn Gary's not a person that literally just goes out and says, he is a person that tells you the truth. And what he says is the truth is that Jordan Love is the truth. Like,
absolutely.
Let's go.
Omer in the chat said, exactly. Draft number only counts on draft day. And what you did in college means nothing. What you do in the NFL is all that counts. They got a old saying that once you make the team, it doesn't matter how you made the team, whether you're a first round pick, a 7th round pick, a UDFA, it doesn't matter. It's once you get to the league, all right, you got your shot now. Now this is where everything really counts, right? Everybody's back to square one. Now, do first, second, and third round picks get treated different? Absolutely they do. Because the front office wants those guys to succeed. They obviously see more in them than anybody else in their draft class or the respective, UDFAs. But if you go out there and you outperform them and you do it at a much higher level and there's, maybe a tier or two in between you and them, you're going to get your opportunity, man. Because these guys, as much as they want to be right in the draft, they also want to keep their jobs. Yep. And if you've got a guy that's sitting there on the bench that you think, okay, this guy is a notch or two ahead of the guy that we took in the second round, then you just start his butt. It's that simple. Iron Miner in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says Super Bowl or bust. It kind of feels like that, doesn't it? We're kind of to that point. Ron Samuel said,
how appropriately awesome to get it in New Orleans too, just like we did in '97.
Let's go, dude. Ron Samuel in the chat said, need to get that big contract done. Don't want to screw with the locker room vibe. Completely agree. I think they'll get it done. I really do. It's just, it is, listen, you guys know I was screaming, get it done before golf. And not that's like, whoa, can't believe I wasn't the only one saying it, but it's like, hey, let's get ahead of this. If he's either the guy or he isn't. Do we think he's the guy? If you think he's the guy, you get it done. If you don't think he's the guy, then I would be upfront and honest and go, we're not sold yet. Let's go. You're going to have to go out and prove it again. Now, that could screw stuff up, right? That's why I'm on team give Jordan Love this contract extension. But I understand, too, that it's basically 8-9 games of him playing better. Listen to me, guys. That 8 or 9 stretch of the season there, 8 or 9 game stretch, was better than Aaron Rodgers' MVP years. That's not that's an opinion. That is a
fact. That's a fact. It's a fact.
It basically what it comes down to is if he had played in the first half the same as he played in the second half. Now you tell me if Aaron ever did this. You'd be looking at 40 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. That's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. So, yeah, I'm with y'all on that. Let's see here. Ron Sample says, if you group all of Jordan's stats for the 17-game year without separating the good and bad games, they still hold up against almost any quarterback. Yep. That's exactly right.
Because he played so solid down that last 8-9 game stretch. The mistakes that he made early in the season were almost irrelevant to the stat line because he just balled out so hard to close the year out.
Absolutely. Let's see here. United Bates, good to see you, buddy. He said Mike Tannenbaum was the one who said it. Yeah, he was the former GM for the Jets. And some people go, it's Mike Tannenbaum. He was the general manager for 7 years. They had a winning record 4 of those 7 years. Okay. Just in one of those years, they actually had it was a push. It was like a 8-8 year that they had. Right. So again, you may say, okay, he wasn't a good GM. That's your opinion. He was one of 32 human beings on the face of the freaking earth that was qualified to run an NFL franchise.
That's right.
Now, let's say he's only half correct in his statement on Jordan Love. Okay, I'll take it. That means he's a top 10 quarterback. Right? So that's I don't understand the people that are trying to find the negative in it. But yeah, thank you, Bates. That's who it was for sure, buddy. Omer said Clements teach him to be like Aaron and be a master ball control quarterback. Great point. I keep forgetting we got Tom Clements back there too. Yeah. Notre Dame Illini, by the way.
Priceless.
Alum, I should say. Not Illini, alum. But M. Smitty says, said it before. Fill it just the minute. What's that say?
I think he's saying
I'm trying to say minute.
Yeah.
Minutia of details on the contract they're hammering out. And that's where, if it were me and you want to get this deal done, they're going to want as much guarantee as possible, but you've got to sweeten the pot with the incentives if that's the case. If you're trying to lowball a little bit with the guarantee, then you got to be willing to gamble and sweeten that pot and go, you know what? You can be the highest paid quarterback in the league if you hit these numbers. Now, I would put the base guarantees somewhere around Jared Goff and then have the incentive skyrocket to where, all right, man, if you ball out, then you're going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I would be okay with that because that means the Packers had a great year. Now, I understand why his camp would not lead with that. Obviously, they get paid to get him as much guaranteed money as possible. So again, I don't hold anything against Jordan. I don't hold anything against Goody. It is kind of a weird situation, but I'm with you guys. Get this thing done. Get it hammered out. So to backtrack just a touch on the tight end position. Tim, you sent this one over to me, and I thought it was so cool. I'm going through these articles on Tucker Kraft, and I'm just losing my mind. I'm going, man, everybody's starting to see it. This is freaking awesome. I'm not losing my mind in the offseason going, Tucker Kraft was damn good. Like, he's doing historic type stuff. So the Sporting News put this article out, and Tim sent it over to me. I'm going to mute you there, Jacob. Sound like you're over milking a cow or something, brother. But exactly. So what's cool is Tim sent this one over, and we didn't even. Tim, did we talk about this beforehand?
No. Yeah. I'm glad you got this in time. It was like 10 minutes before we went on.
Yeah. So the Sporting News put an article out that says Packers 23-year-old surprisingly viewed as a quote top 10 player at position next year. When you scroll down the article, it says Green Bay Packers have a young weapon on offense who is a lot more dangerous than people realize, according to prominent NFL analysts. With quarterback Jordan Love poised for a big year, Green Bay's offense is expected to be formidable. Love is growing more comfortable as a decision maker at the NFL level, and he has an array of talented receivers at his disposal. It goes on to say, one of those options is second-year tight end Luke Musgrave, so the other guy we're talking about, whom the Packers selected out of Oregon State in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft at number 42 overall. If you guys were watching the live draft party, he was hands down. I remember me and Ryan talking about him like, this has got to be Musgrave. This needs to be Musgrave here. That's where he fell on the board. Perfect. I felt like it was a great draft pick. said Musgrave had a decent rookie season, catching 34 passes for 352 yards and 1 touchdown in 11 games played. So if he had played the full season and stayed healthy, you'd probably be looking at over 500 yards? Probably over 500 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns, I would imagine. But he could be on the verge of greatness in 2024, according to ESPN senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler. Fowler appeared on SportsCenter on Saturday morning singing Musgrave's praises, while Musgrave currently sits at number 25 in ESPN's 2024 PPR tight end rankings. Fowler explained how many experts have Musgrave much higher on their list of the best tight ends in football. Quote, he's a sleeper. I hate it when that stuff pops up. It drives me crazy. He's a sleeper option for you, Fowler said. I don't know if he's quite a sleeper because he was a day 2 pick a year ago in the draft. Luke Musgrave, he's certainly got the most upside of any tight end because he's a super athlete. We just talked about the RAS. Jordan Love loves throwing his way. They gave him in Green Bay a lot of options. That kind of waters down the volume share. But this is a tight end that many feel that by the end of this coming year will be that top 10 tight end discussion. And it says NFL careers can be defined or destroyed in just 1 year, and it appears that Musgrave has a chance to make a name for himself this coming season. If Musgrave can deliver at the level that Fowler suggests, Green Bay's offense has lethal potential. So we just sat here and raved over Tucker Kraft, and then here's a Sporting News article talking about, Musgrave might be the one. Just wild, man.
I love how Jacob's cat joined the conversation because we're talking about tight ends that aren't Josiah DeGuara anymore. And I think
like,
the cat is
now I'll be a part of it, right?
He's
Tim?
like, now I'm ready, Yeah.
Tim, what was your big thing on that article, man? I know you sent it over to me, and I appreciate that. Pretty cool stuff. We were literally at the same time reading about 2 different tight ends going, man, everybody's starting to catch on.
From 2 different sources too, right? 2 different areas. Like, shout out to Colin Keene who wrote that for Sporting News. The thing that stood out to me though is the last statement, right? Like if Musgrave can deliver at the level that Fowler's talking about here, Green Bay's offense has lethal potential. I think we have lethal potential already, but man, if we've got Musgrave on the top of his game and he continues to take steps and develop in his second year, I mean, the sky's the limit, man. It could be. I mean, you remember some of those New England Patriot games where you just watch and that offense just would run circles around these defenses. Right. There was nothing you could do, and it was blowouts or you either had a boat race or the occasional close game, but at all times they looked in command and the defense was on its heels. And I truly think that the Packers have that type of potential at offense with the personnel that we have, with the quarterback that we have, with the play caller and head coach that we have on this team. There's no reason not to believe that they could be lethal all the way to bringing Lombardi home, like I said before.
Yeah, definitely. Jacob, sir, did you get the wild hog corralled over there? We heard a noise just a second ago.
No, she likes to grab the mic. I agree. I mean, like I said, man, I'm the biggest Tucker Kraft fan in the world right now, but I really do think that Musgrave could just get the out of here. It's
Peter thick.
Peter's going to be calling Tim. You see the way he threw that cat? Go ahead, Jacob.
They land on their feet. That's what I'm told. I just, between the 2 tight ends, like it is a crazy thing to think. Like you look in the past 20 years of what the Packers have lacked. And I hate saying that word, but it's like, you hate saying that guys like Jermichael Finley and Bubba Franks and all that, but we have never had a George Kittle. We've never had a Travis Kelce. We've never had a Mark Andrews. We've never had one of these guys that are actual game changers where the defense has to set their coverage. Like you can't do, if you're going to be a cover 1 or cover 3 defense, you have to account for the guy that's going to be stretching the seam. And that's going to be either your, again, like your Kelce's, your Andrews, that kind of stuff. With our squad, which always seems to kind of mash in you don't know who to cover. It's like with our wide receivers. Who do you cover? I don't know. Who's the one? Who's the X? I don't know. our running backs, who's the guy that's maybe going to be the main back? We don't know. Like Josh Jacobs obviously would be that guy, but maybe Marshawn Lloyd now is taking some, swing routes off the back. Maybe AJ Dillon is doing some power runs up the middle. You don't know quite consistently. I would argue that right now, I'm not worried about the running back room. I'm worried about whether or not the offensive line is going to block for him the right way. So that's kind of where my mind is. That being said, I'm excited of the fact that we have so much talent at every room. We're kind of sitting here being like, could he make the team? Could he not make the team? Is he going to be a starter? Is he not going to, like that? That's a good problem. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely, man. I love this right here. R.E. Iron Miner said, should have beat the Niners. Chip on their shoulders. Chip on the shoulders. I like how you spelled that too. Completely agree.
That's why, like Rashawn was saying with Jordan Love, why, he's seeing all these, laser beam pinpoint accuracy throws now. You don't think Jordan Love is seething from last year? You don't think he wants that throw across his body late over the middle
on first down?
You don't think he wants that back? He knows he can't get it back, but boy, every ball he throws from that moment on going forward, I'm telling you, I don't think we're going to see too many more of those errant throws or those, rookie mistakes, like Jacob was saying. For all intents and purposes, that was his rookie season as a starter, in the NFL. And that was biggest game of his professional career at that point. And, he was trying to win it. He was trying to win the game for his team. And it was just a rookie mistake, right? You don't make those throws, but I'm telling you, he's fired up for this year.
And to be fair, like that was kind of his MO is when he was in college. Like he lost all of his supporting staff. He lost most of his coaching staff. He lost all of his receivers. What he did do every single game consistently in and out, he tried to win the game. What he did right there is he tried to win the game. He did it and not in the best way. We can all agree on that. But he learned, like Tim just said, I can't do that. I can't just chuck a ball across my body while the seconds are trailing off of a game that means so much importance. Like he understood, like he felt that. Remember, I can't remember what exact player it was, but when they lost the Super Bowl, they sat there and they watched. He goes, I want to watch the pageantry. I want to watch them enjoy every single bit of bliss that engulfs them because I want that to fuel me more to make sure that I'm standing there and that he's not standing there, that I am the best mother and in this lane, and that I'm standing there with that confetti falling over me. That's what I want them to know. And I think that's what Jordan sees.
Yep.
It's funny as you're saying that too. I remember Pat McAfee on his show talking about when the Saints beat them in a Super Bowl. And Pat McAfee always says, yeah, you remember that one? All I could think about was Drew Brees up there with that stupid little baby, talking about his kid, baby, and he's like, Drew up there with that stupid little baby. I'm like, we'll get back here. We're coming back next year. And he said, I got back in the locker room, and the other veterans, it didn't feel like that. They knew, man, this is a hard point to get to, and you got to finish. They knew it was going to be even more difficult.
Stupid baby. He said, looking at me all weird.
Well, but yeah, you mentioned the Niners there, R.E. Iron Miner. Put it on the calendar, week 12, Sunday. Hand, I hate that baby. I think you did say I hate that baby. I think that was the exact quote, by the way. Week 12, Sunday, November 24th, 3:25 kickoff. Guys, the shadows are longer, right? That time of the year. Weather's starting to turn really chilly up there at Lambeau. Shadows going to be casting across Lambeau Field. 3:25 kickoff. Those 49ers have to come into town.
Dude, it's going to be so fun to beat them at home in the regular season and then beat them in the NFC Championship game this year. It's going to be so great.
Fox,
I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Don't be surprised with that one being on Fox. That might be a Tom Brady game call, too. How cool would that be? The GOAT calling the game.
That'd be cool.
Week 12. Put it on the calendar, boy. It's going to be awesome. Ron Sample here in the chat said, what does 21 personnel do to a defense with two good receiving tight ends? So here's the thing. 2 running backs, 1 tight end. When you say 21, are we talking pony package or are we talking I formation where you got a fullback, right? So let's assume you're talking pony package. If you went with the 21 personnel, obviously you've only got 1 tight end in there, all right? So if you're saying another tight end as a fullback, as an H-back, yeah, that's really interesting. To come out in a 21 look and you've got, let's say you got Josh Jacobs at tailback, right? and you got Tucker Kraft playing H, Luke Musgrave playing Y, the inline tight end, and then on the outside you got, take your pick, Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, or Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, or Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks, or maybe it's Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed. I love it. Take your pick. Right? Bo Melton can stretch the field. What you see a lot in 21 personnel, the I formation for the Packers, they love to run that play action pass where it's blind play action, and they have the X and the Z receiver on both sides will sprint down the field as if they're running a go. And here's what's cool. It's an option route. It's a choice route. Depending on what the corners do, if the corners squat, what they'll do is run a little stutter go, or they'll just finish the 9 route and take the top off the defense. If those cornerbacks backpedal and they're playing it deep, as soon as their hips flip, Christian Watson's really good at this route. As soon as their hips flip, it's a deep sit route, a deep hook, if you will, right? So they've got a double choice baked in, plus Jordan's got the flexibility and the command of the offense to just run out of that eye. So if they go to a single high look for them to run that double choice route where it's a deep hook / 9 go route, fly route, whatever you want to.
And how do we get them to go single high looks? We got to run the freaking ball on first down.
Yes.
For the love of God, please let that happen this year.
If you hit them on a go route out of that same look early in the game, or even early in the season, they're seeing it on tape. What they may do is they may still show a single high look, but they may have the strong safety playing a little closer to shell. And if they do, you check it at the line, you go can, and you give Josh Jacobs the ball right between the tackles. Like, that's the stuff that's going to get unlocked this year, man.
Yo, Tim, come on.
What?
No. What did you two do?
Nothing. It's fine.
Oh, come on.
Just
That's
saying.
funny. We can put that up.
You can. I'm just saying.
I missed it. Where's it at?
I start a comment, but Jacob vetoed it.
Oh,
No, I did not. I did not.
Hand in the chat said, if you have a deep hook, find a doctor.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right, get it off the screen. What the hell? I love it. Omer in the chat said, I can't wait to see this defense. I know the offense can go with any team in the league. Now let's see what all that talent on D and new coaches do. If I remember correctly, Omer, they actually finished – the defense, I think, finished 10th in scoring defense, and the offense was 12th in scoring. So they actually, from a point standpoint, defense was – they were definitely right there with the offense in that regard. Now, time of possession, DVOA, all that, I got you. I'm just focused on the scoreboard, me personally. If you need extra analytics, of course, dive into them. But that you got to get this defense in the top 10 now, right? Let's get them around 6th or 7th in scoring defense. Get that turnover differential up a little bit, right? To where you're a +3, a +4 on the season. You'll probably win an extra game or two. You'll probably come away with 12 wins this year.
We've been saying it for the last couple of years, man. We give this offense a top 10 defense to complement it. There's no limit to where we can go with this team.
Absolutely. Since they brung defense up, let's hit on this. This will be the last topic. We're at the 47-minute mark. Thought this was cool. PFF tweeted this out, and they put top 5 NFC defensive lines per @PFF_Sam. That's Sam Monson. So the top 5 NFC defensive lines, according to PFF and one of their senior guys there. Number 1, San Francisco. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Detroit Lions. Number 4, Dallas Cowboys. Number 5 in the NFC on the defensive front, they have the Green Bay Packers per Sam Monson. That's pretty exciting stuff. Everything begins and ends up front, right? Especially on defense.
And this is before a down of football is played in this new 43 with our new DC. So this is great.
Now check this out. 49ers, right? We got them week 12, like you said, Sunday, November 24th at Lambeau. All right. Who is another one? Philadelphia Eagles. Look at this. That's Ticket King. You should check them out. Week 1.
Get your tickets for week 1.
Yeah, week 1 in Brazil at the Philadelphia Eagles. So you'll have the number 2 and the number 5 defensive lines, according to Sam Monson, going head-to-head in week 1. That's freaking awesome. The number 3 defensive line is the Detroit Lions. Well, guess what? We play the Lions twice, if I remember correctly. We play them at Lambeau week 9, 3:25 kickoff on Fox. And then we've got them again in week 14 at Detroit. That's going to be on Amazon Prime. They're on Thursday Night Football, 7:15 Central kickoff. So you got some really cool matchups coming down the pike. I don't think we play the Cowboys this year, right? We do not have the Dallas Cowboys. But
Maybe they'll squeak in as the wild card this year, and we'll play them at home.
Let's go up there and boat race them one more time, right? So again, of these 5 defenses, obviously the Packers are 1. They come in the number 5 spot. There's only 4 other defenses left on the list. We play 3 of those, one of which we play twice this year. It's going to be some damn good football going on this year, boys. So I'm excited.
It's going to be fun because with those, like you talked about the matchups we have, like we played Detroit twice. We got the Eagles. We got the 49ers. Like, think of how challenging it's going to be for our offenses. You talk about these top tier offenses too. I mean, Detroit, San Francisco, and Philly, they have pretty good offenses too, guys. And it's going to be fun to see the D-line really, banging heads and going after these quarterbacks. It's going to be fun. Definitely.
Jacob, you got anything else as we wrap this big bear up, bro?
I mean, yeah, I kind of Tim just said the same thing. It's like, if we're up there in the upper echelon, I think a lot of it is going to be dictated whether or not our edges. I mean, you look at that group right there. That's a good group of people right there. So we got Brock Purdy, you got your Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. Thank you. I want to say Josh Allen. I don't know why. Cowboy, obviously, you got Dak, which I think is the most possibly overpaid.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I hate that so much. And if the top defensive lines, I mean, like I think that is a I don't know what the word is there, like a connection, definitely a synonym of the fact that, like, you look at those top 5 teams, those are top 5 teams right there. And the fact that their defensive lines, I think that coincides with the fact that quarterback play. And I would argue that if the Packers defensive line, if Jordan can play the way he plays, but on the opposite end of the ball, if Devontae Wyatt takes a step, if Kenny Clark decides to be the guy he wants to be, if Carl Brooks decides he wants to be a difference maker, and then we talk about Preston and Gary, if they come out firing, we could catapult up that list right there real quick, real fast. And I really, every year it's like, this is our year. It's going to be our year. We have so many talented first draft players. I really do think, for whatever reason, I have bought into it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Jeff Hafley is going to make these guys into killers. And
let's go. Let's go.
Just saying.
Hey, don't forget about the staff that we've got behind him too.
No, Campanelli,
Coach Okabazi. We've got Coach Ansley that we inherited from the Chargers. I mean, we have got a great staff behind this DC, and it's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. All right, let's get out of here, boys. Appreciate y'all's time. This was a lot of fun. Again, thanks to everybody in the chat for the well wishes and all that. Appreciate the extra prayers. But we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as Tim's folks say over there. But we'll have another good topic queued up. We got some more game tape to break down that we're going to continue to do on Rumble and X. Obviously, when we go live on YouTube, we'll make sure you guys know, hey, we're getting ready to break that tape down before we switch over to X to break that down. But again, we got some really fun wins coming up that we're going to break down. We're also going to dive into the vault a little bit. I think we're going to go back and look at the 2010 Super Bowl victory, just kind of go through the highlights and say, all right, what were they running here? What were they doing? And then also we may go a little deeper into the vault and get into the 1990s a little bit too. So
there we go. I love it.
Yeah. So that being said, we're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time. I would say we're doing a morning show. There's a chance, but with everything going on, I may have to hold off on that. We're going to do our best. So again, thank you all for your patience. Really, really appreciate you. Tim, help me out here.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.